giving me. This is new to me.
Batch 200. It's our farmhouse ale that's kind of hopped like a hazy IPA a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a heavy whirlpool of Nelson and then dry hopped with Citra. So it has kind of like a Belgian-y flavor. It's got kind of like a hoppy flavor.
Wow.
And it's pretty dry.
Yeah.
So it does a lot. And it's nice to me, it kind of scratches the hazy itch without being as yeasty or as thick. It's because it's so nice and dry.
Oh no, this is oh my, incredible. I mean, like you're saying, like it's got those IPA hops everyone loves, Nelson, Citra, you said?
Yeah.
And then, but it's got that, it doesn't have the same backbone as an IPA, so you got like that funkiness a little bit and a little bit of, and it's a lot drier.
Yeah, very dry. So that finished under 1 Plato, which is very, very dry for us. Like the only beer that we have that's drier than that is our other saison. So just that yeast just inherently gets really, really dry.
Yeah.
But big fan of that one, and just tasting a lot of beers like when we went to Firestone, you always try something and you're like, man, I kind of want to do something like that. So we've been having that on something we've wanted to do for a while. And I think it came out really nice, and it was timed perfectly for batch 200 where we could kind of squeeze something in that was more for us than anyone. But it was really really fun to brew, and all the guys in the back really like it. So it's kind of who we made it for. But then also, the sales have been great too. So
how'd you come up with the idea though?
It's almost like a Belgian IPA, I guess you'd say, or what we call it a hoppy farmhouse because it's Belgian IPA can be a weird sell sometimes, but
I know Stone used to have one. I think it was called Californique or something like that. Back when Stone was Stone.
That's definitely an inspiration for this beer.
Okay.
Another one is at the brewery we used to make a beer called Mischief.
Yeah.
Similar. It was dry hopped with Citra and Mosaic, so it just kind of has that like New World hoppy kind of flavor that everyone likes, but with the classic Belgian engine. But that was really one of those beers where you're like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to like it or not, but it was just a hit. So really happy that it all kind of came together. And we've been doing a lot of projects like one-offs and stuff like that where we're like, we just made an XPA the other day. So I don't know if you're familiar with like XPA and all that stuff.
I remember Deschutes used to have a really good XPA that they used to distribute.
Yeah, and Firestone makes XPA.
Right.
It's kind of a Australian style, so it's not extra strong pale. Extra pale ale in America would be like, wow, this is a really strong pale ale.
That's your first thought, right?
Extra pale ale is like extra pale, so extra light ale. So it's like a 4 or 5% like hoppy kind of IPA.
It's almost a misnomer because when you think extra, you think there's going to be more.
Yeah.
But not more alcohol or more flavor, but it's actually just more of in a different.
Yeah, like extra light.
Yeah, extra light. Yeah, exactly.
So I was reading a lot about that style, and then I don't know if you know Craft Coast, but they make a really good one too in Oceanside, and then Balter is kind of the brewery that makes them in Australia, where the guy, Scotty, he wrote the style guidelines. So I was listening to like a TED Talk where he was like talking about it and like kind of had, because I don't know what to do. I've never had one that's like, I've had the Firestone, which I feel like is very close to what they do because they have a good relationship with those guys in the Southern Hemisphere. But it was just kind of like going into the dark, but we'll see. I'm really happy with how it's tasting. To me, it's IPA light, so as long as it tastes like that, we're close.
Okay, what hops are you using that one?
We went with the classic. We went Simcoe Amarillo. Okay. Kind of, if you ever had Alpine Duet back in the day, that was the hop profile on that beer. And it was one of those ones where, Nick from 100 Mile. I don't know if you ever met Nick from 100 Mile, but
I haven't had the chance to, but I know I will someday.
He's super cool. We should have him on sometime. But he's so he worked at Four Peaks for 13 years.
Damn, that's a long time to be there.
So he kind of saw them go through that whole transition of getting bought, and he just has a wealth of knowledge. He's done a lot of things from brewing and QC. So I was like, let's do XPA. And he's like, I didn't even know you knew about XPA. And I was like, I don't know about XPA at all. So we kind of hit that off, and that should be coming out in a couple weeks. And then this upcoming weekend, we have a Best of the Valley party for Exchange Variation, which won People's Choice West Coast.
That's a good one.
Second year. So 24 we won it, and then 26 we won it, and then Vanilla Reality won Barrel Age. So really happy with both of those. And we have a fresh batch coming out of the Vanilla Reality is like a 13-month project. So we have some archive that we're going to bring out for the tasting. And then we have a fresh batch of Exchange, which should be pretty rock solid.
What's the base beer for the Vanilla Reality?
So it's a milk stout. It's kind of like all of our stouts kind of start out as a milk stout. So it's a lot of wheat, a lot of oats. We don't use as much lactose as maybe people would think. But
it's in there.
I think it has to be in there inherently to get the chocolate flavor that we want.
I mean, if you call it a milk stout, it kind of does.
Yeah, no, what I mean, I get, and like some people make really chocolatey stouts without adding lactose, but for us, it kind of completes everything, you know. So we've gone with that recipe a few times. Like our Luxury Elites, like all of our stouts basically here are the same base recipe. It's just the treatment after where they differentiate. So that was in rye barrels, and then had vanilla, where like this beer, the standard that we released for our anniversary, it was in maple syrup bourbon barrels and no treatment. But very similar base beer, just going for the densest, richest, like thickest stout without being overly sweet or overly tastes like soy sauce. You know, it's a tough balance because you have so many different grains, and for us, we're usually really all pale grains, you know, like really light for IPAs and for lagers.
This is standard 2-row.
We use Pilsner on everything mainly.
Oh, really?
We'll use 2-row on some stuff.
Okay.
But,
I had no idea.
For us, Pilsner gives us even lighter. Everyone's chasing as light color as possible. I don't know why, but I kind of like it. So there's a lot of people that are coming out with these new premium pale malts, like Rar is doing a new premium pale. We use a lot of Proximity, their Pilsner. We also have started been using a little bit of North Dakota malt, which was we used on the XPA, which was really interesting. And it just kind of all clicked, you know, where you're like, okay, now I understand why we're using 2-row in this lighter beer. Where you're like, man, a lighter beer should have a lighter malt. Like, not necessarily, because it's so light, we want it to almost feel bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Where with our big beers, we want them to feel lighter than they are. So it's kind of a, you know, like a reverse psychology. So we want our double IPA to drink like a hoppy lager, when we want our hoppy lager maybe to drink a little bit more robust and have a little bit more of a legs to stand on, so you don't like feel like you're just drinking hop water. You know, so light where you're like, we're missing it, you know. So that's the tough balancing act for sure. Yeah.
So with the Exchange variation, so that's 2 years in a row that it won People's Choice.
It won 24 and 26, so we missed 25.
All right.
But we've been
2 years though. I mistook that for 2 years in a row.
Well, we just been working on that recipe. So Exchange for us is there is no one recipe for it.
Okay.
It's always changing. So that's what's kind of cool about it. And so now, as we're moving this beer into like the distribution world where it's coming out, we're gonna probably do quarterly. So we'll have, right now it's Simcoe and Citra. So Simcoe, if anyone doesn't notice, is like the backbone of most of our hoppy beers that are clear. Because we like the way that the bitter flavor from it. We just like a lot of things about it. And
a lot of people like Simcoe.
Yeah. And so it's one of the things that we're not afraid to share, you know, like really we're not really afraid to share anything, but Simcoe is for us is the best IPA hop for West Coast. And because you can do a lot with it. We bitter with Simcoe, we whirlpool, and we dry hop with Simcoe.
Yeah.
But I'd say 90% of all of our IPAs at least have some Simcoe in it.
Yeah.
So it's
Simcoe and Citra are like the new standards when it comes to IPAs. When it used to be like the 3 Cs, right? Like Columbus and Chinook and
Cascade and
Centennial. The 4 Cs actually.
Yeah. And,
but now it's like it's Simcoe and Citra. You can go both ways.
You get a lot of Mosaic too, I think. A lot of people really like Mosaic a lot.
Those 3.
And they have good survivability, and they have really good consistency. So I could see why other people would like them. And like as a consumer, like when you taste a beer and you're like, oh man, that Simcoe is super fresh, or you're like, oh dude, this Mosaic's like popping blueberry cotton candy. Like it's nice to be able to taste it. And I know that some people maybe don't even give a crap, but like when you can taste it and you're like, you go to a brewery and you have like 3 other IPAs, you're like, damn, they got a really good lot of Citra. They're featuring that in a lot of their beers. So like, I've been to some breweries like that where like, dude, they just keep hitting the Citra note, Citra, or some people do the Mosaic or, you know, Nelson, or there's, you know, a bunch of different hops that are really popular. But when you can really differentiate it and taste it, then you can kind of start. It's like seeing the colors that an artist is using. They're like, oh man, they really like that powder blue. It really accentuates the painting. So
but they're using it like they're supposed to, you know. It's not like you're using it as a crutch.
Yeah, not out of control. And that's the cool thing is with a lot of these beers is you can do single hop Simcoe, you can do a single hop Citra, you can do single hop Mosaic, and then I guess the other kind of hops are kind of like they're like helpers. You know, like El Dorado, you're going to help you out. Emerald is going to help you out. It's hard to do something that's so focused on those hops because they just don't have... Simcoe and those hops we're talking about have a lot of depth, and they have good bitterness qualities because they have high alpha acids. Yeah. Simcoe has really low cumulone, which is like... So the Germans describe it as like... The lower the cumulone is, the like more fine the bitterness is, the softer. You know, when you have like Chinook, like on Arrogant Bastard, and it's like a really sharp, intense, like almost
in your face,
like painful bitterness.
So that's why they call it that.
Yeah. So this is the opposite of that. That's what I feel like people are moving towards, and we can get a lot more IBUs into our beers without them being over the top. So like, I know that people don't really care about IBUs, but from like a shelf life perspective, when you have a lot of IBUs and it doesn't come off as you have a lot of IBUs, when you have a beer 90 days later, it still tastes fresh and it still tastes like, man, this is like, I understand what's going on. This beer still tastes good. Yeah. So we are kind of in that thing now where we want our beers to last 90 days. Like that's our like measuring stick. So we have a batch of exchange that's 90 days on right now, and I'll get you some, and it's a lot better than I think a lot of IPAs are at this stage.
Okay, yeah, because 90, I mean, like, wasn't that like the cutoff for like the beer nerds? Like, IPAs have a shelf life of 90 days, and then you're
sometimes
done.
even less. 30 days, some people are, oh, it's a month old, I don't want that. And you're like, Jesus Christ, give these guys you're buying it from the brewery or what?
I got to admit something to you, because I know you don't listen to my show a lot, but I bought a shelfie the other day that was 3 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I had no idea, because I was looking at a bunch of, they were all Smog City. I'm like, oh, these are brand new. And I'm like, oh, what's this one? And for some reason I thought it said 2026, but it said 2023. Yeah. And I had it, and the badness from it that I got was, and I told my brother, because when I was telling him, I go, you know that when like, I know there's not a lot of grass lawns around here, but in California they're all over the place, right? Yeah. And that summer day when you're mowing the grass and you had just mowed it a couple days before, and you open the lid to the garbage bin, and you get that
like grassy, like mulchy grass, like fermenting type thing.
That's the note I got. So I'm gonna start looking for. I don't think it'll happen after 3 months, but
it it was an IPA, I'm guessing.
Yeah, from Pariah.
That's really tough.
Yeah, but the IPAs, like you're saying, like they do kind of have a shelf life. Now,
of course.
I don't recommend anything over 3 years, but but 90 days is fine. I would even say 6 months is fine for me anyway.
And it depends, because I've had monkish beers that are 5-6 months old and they taste completely fine. Yeah. But it also goes into process. It goes into hop selection,
like the canning.
There's and there's survivability things that certain hops have that others don't. Like monkish is known, in my mind, for using a lot of Galaxy. I'm kind of scared of Galaxy, because Galaxy can get really out of control really fast.
Yeah, and it's expensive too.
And they're really good at doing it. But the thing is for the first couple weeks, like their beers can come off as really green. I've heard that from a lot of people. But in 3 months down the road, you're like, oh man, this is super green. And you're like, dude, this is like prime. Yeah. So it's weird how some IPAs can really age nicely.
Condition
like that.
In the can, like the Sierra Nevada used to say, condition in the bottle.
Yeah. There's been some. Have you heard about that beer from Sierra Nevada, the Selly Drippings?
Yes, I've heard of it. I've yet to try it though.
Yeah, I heard it's like the coolest thing, because they have a bunch of these big bags and they like do the celebration, and then all the stuff drips out, and then they like package that off and make it like its own thing. Yeah,
I think this was the first year, maybe the last year was the first year they actually distributed it, because before that you had to get it at
you got to go to like the tasting room and
both tasting rooms.
Get like a crowler or something.
Yeah, or just you drink it there.
Yeah, just enjoy it on site. Yeah. But what an interesting idea, for a brewery that's so built on innovation. They still got a couple tricks up their sleeve, you know.
Yeah, but every year, they have something new every year, and the celebration is always a great time of year for me.
Yeah,
love that beer.
It's just comfort beer, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the old the Christmas ale from Anchor Steam.
Yeah, maybe
You know?
they might bring it back. I don't know.
Who knows,
There's
but
rumblings that they're
every
producing
year,
again.
if you want to drink a pine cone for Christmas, you bought like the big bottle of that and shared it with everyone. They're like,
I had a
yeah.
Magnum. My brother and I polished a Magnum one Christmas, and I don't remember the half of that.
Yeah,
night.
it's you know, just get you in the holiday cheer, you know.
But going back to your exchange variation though, so you got a couple awards there. You got more awards, you know, from the. How's it? I mean, is that cool? Let's move on, or do you celebrate it in the moment?
I think it's one of those things where it's like, you know, when you win like a game, you're like, you know, we're happy on that day, we're excited, but like, you know, when the calendar flips over the next day, it's like back to work, you know, like
yeah.
Just because a beer wins an award or just because people like it doesn't mean that it's perfect for us, you know?
Yeah.
So like there's always changes, micro changes, small turning of the knobs, if you will, on our beers. And we do have a couple beers that are very, very consistent. Like our 3 most consistent beers where they're kind of locked in. Paradise Valley is kind of locked in.
Yeah.
Like there's very, very little different. Like,
and you distribute that one.
Yeah. So the distribute ones are going to be a little bit more high and tight.
Yeah.
Vioto, we wouldn't change anything about that. We just love that, just classic saison. And then Vesuvio, you know, the big thing is the only difference you'll really have is how long we lager it. So we like to keep a batch lagering at all times. So like when we need a fresh batch, we're like, oh, this is lagered for 4 weeks, so we're good to go. So that's how we can kind of stay ahead on that beer. So just staying consistent as possible on those. But like exchange, like every time we make it, we want to make it different and we want to make it better. And like we remember ones where, you know, we've used a lot of different hops. Like we've used Strata before. I never really was big into Strata, but we went to Denver for GABF and all the guys were talking about Strata. So I was like, let's try it.
Yeah.
It came out really, really good. We just haven't like revisited it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a lot of different changes and like it's hard to keep track of it. But the cool thing about that beer is like if you come in the tasting room and you ask us, we'll always know. And I think as the brand gets bigger and as it goes into distribution, it'll probably be labeled on it so you can tell the difference, the small nuance where like maybe the color will change a little bit. So you're like, oh man, this is, you know how the Mother Earth used to do that? They'd have the seasonals where it was like, oh, this is this one and it's like orange. And then they do like, the next one's blue, but it's like almost the same.
La Cumbre does it with their Project Dank.
Okay, yeah, that's a good example too. So just something like that where it keeps the consumer fresh and it keeps the beer fresh for us too. You know, it's hard for me honestly to make the same beer over and over again. You know, like,
I was gonna ask you something like that, like just the day in and day out. That's why you do the one-offs, right? To satisfy that itch.
And I mean, you know, there's a lot of breweries that have a lot of success making the same beer every single day, like Coors or. You know, even locally, like guys like The Shop, their bread and butter is that church music, and you just see it absolutely everywhere. And that's just not kind of like what our like persona is, at least at this point of the brewery.
Yeah, you guys, what? How many years now?
We just celebrated our second.
Yeah.
So in February, so 3 next year. We'll have more special releases for the Arizona beer. Like it's nice because Arizona Beer Week kind of lines up with our anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we can really kind of go pull out all the stops.
Yeah.
But it's just been a great experience of having so many taps because you can always put on something new, and we don't usually miss, to be honest. Like we know what we want to do, and we take the time to figure it out. Like we're doing a beer for Eric's birthday. He's my brewer. Yeah. And so
he's featured prominently on your Instagram.
We try and get everyone's face out there because we have a lot of really hardworking people here, and I think the best way is to have ownership is to be connected to the brand and to feel like the brand is yours. And like when you step in the cellar, like take a lot of pride. Like this is my cellar. Like I'm not gonna have this or this is how we do it. That's the kind of things we're trying to instill in our staff in the back, and then just on all aspects of the company. But so Eric's birthday is coming up on the 20th, or I think it's on Father's Day, maybe it's 21st, but he wanted to do a really, really out there beer.
Okay.
And you'll be the first to know, but we're going to do Pina Colada Hazy IPA.
Oh, wow, okay.
Kind of something that we've done. I mean, I've done it in the past, and I know that like Green Cheek, they do it. It's called Cocoa Hut, but it's like heavy coconut, 100% Citra.
Okay.
So it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, because Citra's got that pineapple.
Yeah, so we're hoping to capture that pineapple from the Citra and then just douse it with toasted coconut.
Okay.
And it's going to be really fun, and it'll be a different beer than I would never come up with an idea like that.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even... Where my brain is right now is completely different where Eric's at. You know, because I'm thinking about West Coast, and I'm thinking about saisons, and I'm thinking about stuff like that. Where, you know, he's on a different part of his beer, journey. Where, you know, he had the first beer he made for us was the Irish Porter, and I called the play for him, but he executed it and threw the touchdown because that's one of our highest rated beers on Untapped. And you know, Irish Porter that's not 14% and barrel aged with marshmallows and all kinds of stuff, it kind of you can get a little rough ratings from those, you know. Yeah. So if you don't do like the pastry boys,
what makes it the Irish Porter though?
So it's a little bit. We were doing some research into it, and before Guinness was like really a big thing.
Yeah.
Porter.
Yeah, the UK, the whole UK is all. That's where Porter was born.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a working man's beer.
Yeah.
So we started doing more research into it, and then we're like, man, these are really simple recipes. This is just kind of just let the beer do its thing. So there's not a lot of hops. There's only 3 different malts. There's just we were going to do Maris Otter, but we wanted it to be extra drinkable, so we're like, let's try Pilsner. And so we did Pilsner in it, and so it drinks super nice and light, almost like Schwarzbier-ish. And then we added roasted barley and some oats. So it was just 3 in, and you just get so much out of it, so much chocolate.
And it's dry. I'm guessing it's dry. It's like an Irish stout.
It's pretty dry, yeah. It's very dry, and it's very drinkable, but it doesn't leave you like with like offensive flavors. You know, sometimes you can get really like sharp or like metallic, or, you know, on some when you use a lot of these roasted malts, it's just like very nicely balanced, and it's from good lautering and from good hot side process to make sure that gets into the glass and tastes like that. But it's cool to have, because people are going to be, you know, I have my own way of thinking about beers, but you know, as I work with Eric and Andrew more, it's like they have totally different backgrounds than me. They come from totally different worlds. You know, Eric comes from kind of more of the artistic realm. That's where his background is. And then Andrew was in the military. So we have like completely different perspectives on, you know, what we like to do, what we don't like to do, what we like to drink.
Past experiences,
But all these anecdotes, we can put them together and say like, man, I remember I had this a long time ago and it was super good. And we're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's make like a Newcastle, or, you know, like whatever the flavor may be. And then slowly trying to get them ingrained in clear, hoppy beers. Because I feel like that's been the most successful. Like, we put on a lot of work into a lot of different stuff. I mean, I personally have. The most that I've gotten out of is lagers and like clear, hoppy beers. Yeah. And that's where, and farmhouse too, but that's where our kind of focus is going, is drinkability and dryness and clear.
Yeah. Well, that dryness makes you want to take another sip. I mean, that's the one that keeps bringing you back.
Keeps bringing you back for sure. And going to, you know, like we went to Firestone last year, which, thank you again. It was one of the
you don't have to thank
one
me,
of the
man.
most exciting experiences of my life.
You're welcome.
You know, we drove up there, we had a great time, met so many people, met some old friends, made some new friends.
You sound like, did you know anybody, right? Or everybody?
We'll always find somebody. The beer world's really small, believe it or not. And being from Orange County, there's always geeks that are like, we're going to go here, we're going to go here. So you'll be in Vegas and you'll be like, oh, it's Beer Zombies. And you see a guy from Orange County.
And because of you, like my first brewery I went was Bofcont.
Yeah.
And they just had this amazing freaking saison that, was it saison or lambic? I forgot. But that day, you know how it is. The day blurs.
Yeah, and there's so many breweries where, like, if you're, like, there's the obvious, the low-hanging fruit. There's, like, Monkish. There's, like, Other Half. There's, like, Horace-aged ales. But there's also these ones that you don't really know about, like Garage Project. Like, if you go to Firestone, you know who they are.
Yeah, they have a long line.
They're the best show in town.
But the Birrifico is there.
Yeah, those are, like, old-school Italian brewers that
everything is
Pilsner.
Yeah, all their Pilsners are fucking on point.
Yeah.
You throw a dart and you're going to get a good one.
Yeah, and Bierstadt was there when we went, and they made the collab with Firestone that was super good. So there's, like, it's cool because they have, like, something kind of for everybody. And
this year the Hello Beer was collab with Freem.
Oh yeah,
and they make great lagers.
Oh yeah, Freem is very very good at lager
I met
process.
the owner. I was like, I love the Freem lager. Your flagship beer is one of the best lagers I've ever had.
Yeah, they I've just started reading this book about modern lagers, and Ashley Carter is the foreword, so she's the head at Beerstadt, and then there's a little excerpt from Freem, and then these guys Jack Sabby, and there's all this stuff that's coming out right now. Like, people might not believe it, but we're in the golden age of beer for America. Like, America has never been this relevant in beer, and people are like, oh well, the industry's down or whatever, but it's like all the breweries that are closing are getting reopened by people that are really good at making beer, and they're kind of bringing them back to life. So it's not as dramatic as I think people would think. And Arizona, we have a lot of room to grow. We still import a lot of beer from California, and until we can get over that, we're still going to be growing in the state. You know, there's a lot of room to grow.
The import exports got to even out. Then Arizona will probably be.
Well, I don't think any Arizona beer exports except maybe Four Peaks.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe then, but only because they have the backing.
Yeah,
from
like imagine
Budweiser.
if you saw church music on the Strip in Vegas. You know, or I mean, there's guys that have a lot of capacity in this state that could easily go out and do it. So. It's just, where's the play? Do you go to New Mexico? Do you go to Vegas? Do you go to California and try and get in that market? But we're luckily not there yet. We're still trying to figure Tempe out and Arizona out. So
we're trying to figure out Broadway.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that level of the mystery yet. But it's nonetheless, it's been a really fun trajectory we're on, where we can kind of control our own destiny and still have kind of cornerstone beers that when you come in, you're like, I just need some Paradise Valley, and we'll always have it. So
when you look at in the state anyway, like the longer players, they've been around. Maybe like 10 years ago, like a lot of breweries popped open.
Yeah, it was like 2015, 2016. There was like this like big like
a boom
blossom of all these breweries, and I mean, what, like Wrenhouse is like 10 years old, right?
Yeah,
Goldwater's getting up there. Huss. There's a lot of guys that have been there and have been around for.
And you guys are only 2 years old, so you got a lot of.
Yeah, we got a long way to go for sure. And there's a lot of really good young breweries that have opened up. Like, Phantom Fox is one that comes to mind.
I haven't been there yet, but I've had their beers.
Oh, dude, the pizza there is really good too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's probably the best pizza in the state, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Portnoy hasn't been there yet, but in Will's world, it's the best pizza in Arizona.
Okay. But then you met, like, Pinnacle's just turned 2.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like that second wave of openings where it was like Pinnacle, Phantom Fox, us. Like those are some pretty hot young breweries right now.
And when I was talking with Christian and Andrew, I was talking with Christian and Andrew yesterday or last week. They mentioned Slow Body, and I just heard about them, and I haven't been there or even tried any of their beers, but I heard they got something good down there.
I'll give you the scoop on Slow Body. So I went to Tucson for monster truck smashing with my 3-year-old.
He's into that stuff?
Oh, he loves monster trucks.
Okay,
so we watched that whole thing. I think I had a Dos Equis there, but it was overpriced. We had nachos. It was just all
stadium beer,
yeah, stadium beer, stadium fun. So we leave, and I tell my wife, and I was like, we either need to go to the gas station, I need to have a beer, or we need to go to a brewery. And she's like, let's just go to a brewery. So she's like, where do you want to go? And I was like, there's this new place, Slow Body. So she's like, I don't know. I'm kind of like burned out on the brewery thing. And I was like, I get it. Let's just like see what it's like. See if the vibes are off, then we'll just go home.
Yeah.
We'll go get some Mexican food and go home. So she goes in. She's like, this place is so cool. It's all like kind of retro on the inside. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe like 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of plants. And they have like this old bumper pool table. And they have... Then I saw their brew system, and I figured I put all the pieces together. It's the old guy from Pueblo Vita who went to Hill Farmstead.
Yep.
So the first beer I had from them, I was like, man, because we've been putting so much thought into these West Coast IPAs. I'm like, I bet this guy is really good at making West Coast IPAs. Mm-hmm. So they had a New Zealand IPA, and it was like over the top good. I was like super blown away. Like I told my wife, I was like, nobody makes beer like this in Arizona. These guys are way ahead of everybody, and they just opened up. And then she had something else. I think she had a Pils, and she's like, this is super good.
Yeah.
So then after that, we just kept drinking beers. We had like 4 or 5 beers, kept doing tasters, and it ended up just being like, wow, this is a really, really cool brewery, and they're really doing good things. I just don't. I guess you just don't see them up here as much as you'd like. I would love to have.
They're brand new. I don't even think they're a year old. So
yeah, they're on a pretty big system. I think they're on a 10 barrel, so they can make a good amount of beer.
Yeah.
But would love to see them up here more. Like I would love to have their beer on tap here because it's so good. I was so impressed.
That's amazing.
And we try and like bring in local favorites and stuff. Like had some beers from some friends before in the past. So
yeah,
we love to because we have so many taps. We feel like Arizona should have more of that. Like where we're like, hey man, your beer's really good. Let's put some on. And so. But no, for sure, I was absolutely blown away by them. If you go in there, I didn't have a bad beer.
Okay.
Everyone, it was very upscale and nice, but the people weren't pretentious. Sometimes when you go to a really good brewery and people like really know a lot about beer, and then you go in there and you ask a stupid question, they're like, "Oh, great, we got the after-school special drinker." Like I didn't feel like that because I asked the dumb questions like, "What kind of hops are in these?"
Yeah, and you're in the industry too.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't try and I just try and kind of blend in and be like, "Oh, this is super good. What's your guys' story?" And just try and figure it out from a genuine perspective.
Yeah,
but. I was honestly, in my opinion, that's the team to beat right now in Arizona.
Wow,
like, they're really good, dude.
And
really,
they've been hardly anybody knows about them yet.
They're very, very local centric. Like they're very built on that community that they have, and they're right by Barrio.
Yeah,
so
right
they're in a
next to
good
there.
spot where like. If you go there and their tasting room's like really full, and you're like, damn, I really want to have this beer. Like you can go to Barrio where it's a lot bigger of a space and chill, and then be like, okay, we're coming back. We're gonna strike again.
But yeah, Barrio's another one that's been around for a while too. Yeah,
and they're still flexing their muscles a lot. Like they're making award-winning beer to this day. Like their lager is just won, I think, GABF, and they're not too long ago they were Brewery of the Year for the Arizona Craft Beer Awards, which is usually a smaller brewery driven event, but they're they really showed everyone who's the big dog in the yard that
yeah, we've
year,
been here. A little flexing that never hurts.
Yeah,
but like you said, the next day they got to go in and brew beer again.
Yeah, got to go make another batch. Got to go knock out a couple more barrels.
The hardest match you'll ever have is defending the title.
Oh yeah, because now you got a bullseye.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring something up because I'm sure you're thinking about it as a 49ers fan. How do you feel about the Rams this year, man?
I was going to talk about football with you in a minute, but yeah, okay, I'm glad you brought it up. The Rams, if Aaron Donald stays retired, I'm all right.
Well, the thing that I saw it was like if Aaron Donald comes back, I think they have like maybe 5 or 6 Hall of Famers on their team.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow, that's really. But I feel like this, and I don't have to be a naysayer, but I always think about this from this perspective. You got a lot of eggs in a few baskets. One of those baskets tears an ACL or,
the top heavy, definitely top heavy in there.
So you don't have a lot of depth behind those guys because you just traded your top pass rusher for the best pass rusher.
Right,
but,
yeah.
I think that people are scared. I think the Seahawks should be scared, and I think the Niners definitely have a lot. This is going to be a very competitive NFC West for sure, and the Cardinals are like flying under the radar, which is very good because you don't want a bullseye on your head. If
you don't want a spotlight on you right now.
But with I guess all that being said, like it's just like any other super team. Like remember when the Eagles were like the dream team when they had like Michael Vick and like all these guys, like Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy, and they went like 8-8.
Yeah,
and it just depends on if. And I'm not saying Sean McVay would have like a implosion coaching season, but you get bit by the injury bug on the wrong day,
right?
Anything can happen. But
a little luck on a Sunday helps. But all right, so when they signed him, I looked at the Myles Garrett against the 49ers because they have played 3 times against them, and I think he's had like 5 tackles and 2 sacks in 3 games. So they were able to those 3 games, and 2 of them were in Cleveland. I think maybe one was in Santa Clara. But I know 2 were for sure, and because that was one of them. One that I think Trent Williams got hurt on one of those games.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he doesn't against the 49ers. He doesn't have very impressive stats like he does with the rest of the league.
Yeah, it's not like some of these teams.
But now he's on the Rams. He'll have more videotape and a coaching staff who knows how to scheme against the 49ers. So that'll help him. But he's got no help on the other side, like you were mentioning. They got rid of their best pass rusher, and on the other side. They got like last year he played I think he started 2 games. I forgot, it was some white guy.
Yeah.
And they run a 3-4, and is Myles Garrett. So he's actually lined up as a strong side linebacker, not a defensive end.
He's not gonna have his hand in the dirt probably like he did in Cleveland.
He might have the option though. He's so good.
And the thing is too, what would be scary is if you move him around to even like a 5 technique where he would be the defensive end in that, and then you have another outside linebacker putting more pressure.
Yeah, double pressure on one side. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things you can do.
But the Niners run 2-1 better than anyone.
Yeah.
And so they have 2 tight ends. They can line them up where they want to.
Yeah, and that's the new meta right now is 2 and 3 tight ends. In the Sean McVay's doing it. The Bears are doing it. The 49ers are doing it. Everyone just wants to run these really heavy sets so they get the bad matchups against linebackers with all the tight ends.
Yeah.
And then they switch to spread because these tight ends are basically just big wide receivers now. So it really makes – and then if they don't, they're going to honor the pass. You just run it. You just give it to Monungai, or you give it to CMC, or you give it to Kyron Williams or whoever is your bell cow.
Yeah.
And you just take it from there.
Yeah, so – it's a wait and see for me as far as.
I'm not writing the season off. I don't think it's like
they got better odds.
It's not like the Tom Brady Bucks or like a fully healthy Tyreek Hill, Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like those were a little bit scarier to me because I think the Rams have a lot of issues with, at least on the surface. It feels like there's like. Nakua can't stay healthy or out of the headlines. They just had an offensive lineman who just got in trouble for some type of violent outburst or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's definitely holes in the armor. But, teams like the Eagles or, a team I think that nobody really wants to talk about is Dallas Cowboys, man. Like, they
made some good moves in the offseason. Finally, about time for them anyway, for their fans.
They got rid of a lot of expensive players, and they started bringing in a lot of younger players. And I mean, Jerry Jones is always one of those guys that kind of runs it on a little. He'll pay his superstars, but like he always gets the coaches that like I mean, they had Bill Parcells. That was like their last like really big name coach. You know, because I mean,
I didn't think Mike McCarthy was a big name coach.
McCarthy wasn't a big name at the time when they brought him. They kind of like tried to revive him because it wasn't exactly like everyone was knocking at McCarthy's door back then. But it's interesting, and even the Commanders are 2 years out of the NFC Championship.
Let me ask you this about your team: how do you feel about the Madden curse?
I no longer believe in the Madden curse at this point.
It doesn't always hit.
Well, Mahomes was on the cover of Madden, and he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, as I said, it doesn't always hit, but now you're starting quarterback.
They're saying that the curse is going to be the Bears moving to Indiana. So.
You know what? I saw someone posted on a meme. It was they're gonna change their name to the Ham and Eggs, and I'm like, all right, by the Brain Heenan, calling out the team, the Ham and Eggers. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't think that
they're not gonna change the name.
I think they're just gonna say the Chicago Bears of Indiana or something. I don't know.
No, really I mean like the 49ers playing Santa Clara, the Giants and the Jets playing New Jersey. It's not a big fucking deal that you don't live in the same state.
The thing that pisses me off about it is. You would never see. I hold the Bears obviously higher than the Green Bay Packers. I'm a Bears fan. You would never see the Packers leave Lambeau Field, and that's why I don't like that they're leaving Soldier Field.
Okay,
but I think that we have just as much history there, and it's unfortunate that the economics of it have such a big play. Where Wisconsin is apples to bowling balls compared to Southside Chicago. Yeah. So it is what it is. I really feel like any game that Caleb is healthy, we have a chance to win after last season. And he had a lot of fuck ups last year.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He had games where he was under 50%, but it was like in the fourth quarter, like he just turned the switch on and it's like, oh, maybe stop caring as much now. I'm just going to go out there and play football. And then that's when it started to work. So I hope that him and Ben Johnson can somehow get that. We're like, we need that in quarter one from now on, not in, before halftime.
I remember last year when they played the Niners in Santa Clara, and I was in Disneyland watching it on my phone, and like I started getting spotty recoveries in the fourth quarter. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to come back and I'm not going to see it. Like, because Yeah, even though the Bears were down, I didn't consider them out until that last.
It was that
throwaway.
last play was just it.
The last play,
and the Bears were in that position so many times last season where it was like, there's no way these guys are gonna win, and then somehow they pull it off.
That Cincinnati game, was that last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the Cincinnati.
That was amazing.
That was Colt Kmet's or not Colt Kmet, Colston Loveland.
Loveland, yeah.
He was like
breakout.
Yeah, it was like they're like, okay, this is why we drafted him 10th overall or whatever. But between him and then in that Packers game, dude, that Packers game was probably one of the craziest games I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they kept doing it. They almost did it to the 49ers.
Yeah.
They almost did it to the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
They were very close to beating the Rams. It was just,
Ben Johnson's got a good system, or at least culture there now.
Yeah, and I think that there's going to be people that they brought in, like, O'Dunes, this is his chance to move up because we got rid of DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luther Burden is always a very, like, I wouldn't say Devin Hester, but like Hester-ish, where you get the ball in his hands in the open field. That guy's really hard to tackle. So usually it's so weird. I'm usually always talking about how good the defense is and how excited, man, the defense is going to put our offense in great position. Now it's the offense has got to just make 3 touchdowns a game, and I think we'll be all right, or 4 touchdowns a game. And so far so good. And Caleb stayed relatively healthy, never missed a game so far, and he hasn't had a lot of he has had some bad interceptions, but the volume of interceptions is not concerning to me at this point.
No, he's not a bust by any means anymore.
Yeah, I think he proved. I think last year was they're like, okay, this guy's he's for real. Yeah, because the first year it was Drake May didn't really have a lot of success, and then Jaden Daniels had a lot of success, and then they're like, oh, Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy, and now it's like Caleb Williams and Drake May, and those are kind of the top 2 right now.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. I didn't think JJ McCarthy was going to be a pro quarterback.
No, he was kind of.
I'm sorry. Cool, you won the national championship, but that doesn't mean you're going to be a good pro.
I feel like, and this will get me a lot of heat from Raiders fans. I feel like that Mendoza is kind of like JJ McCarthy. In terms of they won big games, and he did things that were good in the big games, but I just don't see the volume of passing from him that I'm like, wow, this guy can make every throw. This guy can handle the pressure. Because Cignetti's kind of had this thing where he had all these really old players on his team, like guys that should have been in the NFL, but they wanted like one more year of college, so they're like 23 and 24. Which, say what you want, they're all eligible, whatever, but like. College football didn't used to be like this. Those guys would be 7th-round picks, and they wouldn't be on teams.
Maybe 5th.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But then now, instead of being a 5th-round pick, I can just go back for another year and be a 3rd-round pick next year and get paid more than I'll make in my whole rookie contract. Yeah. So that has changed it from having, I saw Nick Saban talking about it the other day, who's the defensive end for the Texans that just got paid? He went to Alabama. Will Anderson Jr., sorry. So he was 18 at Alabama, and he was getting 12, 13 sacks in a year, and now he's 23. And they have a picture of him when he was 18 and when he was 23, and he looks like Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? So these guys that aren't as
developed, physically developed,
they aren't as maybe high recruits. They aren't as there's guys that when they're 20, they're going pro.
Yeah.
Like the Ohio States of the world. They're full of people like that. And then they have to go get more guys. Mm-hmm. Where these mercenary type teams like Vanderbilt and Utah, and there's a lot of them that just Texas Tech.
We could,
Ole Miss. All these the
Texas Tech's a different fucking story.
The transfer portal warriors are what to me is killing old school college football.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely is. Yeah. Well, now we're in the new era. It's just the way it is. You can't lament the old. You can pine for it, but you're not gonna get it back.
Yeah. So now it's
you gotta adapt.
Now I gotta get my contract redone because I had 12 sacks last year and I'm a sophomore and I'm gonna go to LSU if I don't get my contract redone.
Yeah.
And you're that's not really what college is to me supposed to be about. But
Yeah, you're supposed to go there to learn something and get a degree.
Yeah.
That's what it's really about.
And I think it's going to screw up.
Sports is a
it'll
different
screw
story.
up a lot of sports too, because why are we even going to have water polo and golfing? It doesn't make any money.
Yeah.
The only sports that make money are football and basketball.
Yeah.
Maybe baseball, but they could, why keep putting money into these sports? Like, just, you know what? Just get rid of the wrestling team. We don't make any money.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's going to go, because it's just what is the source of all evil? Money.
Yeah.
So now, and people will say, well, in the old days they were paying people. Of course they were. They were always going to pay the top guys. But now, not just top guys are getting paid. Now it's like your third string tight end is like, hey, I'm going to go start at Oklahoma, so I want more money. And they're like, well, dude, we recruited you. We're the only people that saw how good you were coming out of high school. Well, they offered me more money now.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more of a business than it is like loyalty.
There's no more loyalty.
And, I think the amount of transfers really needs to be like studied. Like, I think you should have one transfer, like you can have one transfer your whole thing, and that's it. And then if you're a graduate student, you can have one more unpenalized transfer. So if you're like a fifth year senior and you're like, I'm going to UCLA. My dad went to UCLA. I want to finish it out there. Fine. Okay. But like, you shouldn't be able to transfer 4 times.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, they're just still figuring out. It's brand new, so maybe there will be some regulations soon.
Yeah, and it's the hard thing too is if something happens that the NCAA says that you don't like, you can just go find an alumni that's a judge and have a lawsuit, and then now you can gamble and play. Yeah, because it's gambling is a disease or an illness or something, and don't mention that 90% of all the ads during the games are the gambling side.
No shit, man. But, it's either gambling or cars or insurance.
Yeah.
Or drugs. Those are the 4.
Yeah. Sometimes beer too.
Oh yeah, true. Now, okay, that's fine.
They got to know their, and then. What's really weird is those food delivery things are really big too, like Grubhub and Uber Eats. They always want you to order food so you don't have to get out. You can't step away from the TV. So
yeah, they don't want you to eyes off.
They
TV.
They know their audience. Keep them in the seat as long as possible. It's like a casino.
That's
keep
a
them
good
in the
point,
seat
man.
as long as possible.
I'd rather make my own food though.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot. Well, nowadays, it costs an arm and a leg to go to freaking McDonald's.
I saw there was that one meme that came out like a couple years ago. Like, now is the point of the day where, do I go down to the Jack in the Box to buy a meal for $13 or have it delivered for $57?
Yeah, no kidding. And now it's getting so hot where it's like you start to think about it. You're like, damn, I almost don't even want to go outside.
Yeah, with the heat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 103 today or something.
I had someone making fun of me at the Firestone this past year, last month, because it was 80 degrees. We were outside on the concrete, mind you. And I was like, oh, I'm hot. And she had just, because I was talking with these people that I knew from, or no, I didn't know them, but they were from Taplands, my friend from Taplands. They were with that group. Okay. And I was telling where I'm from, and this lady was eavesdropping behind me, and I was telling them I'm hot and sweating. And she's like, and you're from Phoenix. I go, well, hey, we don't stand outside in the sun.
You don't stand in the direct sun in Phoenix, that's for sure. But also, that's like wine country. It's going to be really harsh sunlight, and extended periods of a lot of heat to get those grapes right.
Well, you've been there. There's not a lot of shade there. There are some shady spots, but...
You got to go to the cool down station and stuff if you really start drinking a lot of stouts.
Yeah, I would, yes, but there's a lot of stouts there, barrel aged, you know that. But there wasn't a lot of... it wasn't that bad. It was just where we were at was on concrete. And
that little the little corral before you go in. Is that what you mean or no?
No, it was inside.
Inside,
like right outside the fort where the bathroom's at.
It definitely gets like that, and then even sometimes on the inside where you go buy the shirts, it'll get like stuffy because all
muggy,
the people,
Oh, they had mobile ordering this year. They're really promoting it. They had it last year. But this year they're promoting it. Like, buy your stuff before and you could just go pick it up rather than waiting in line. But anyway, dude, Will, thank you so much for having me again, man. I always love to talk to you.
Can I introduce my guys here? Because they're here chilling. So I want to come and bring them over, and I want to bring a barrel-aged. Did you ever get to try the barrel-aged stouts?
No, not yet. Eric, Andrew, thank you for hanging out.
For sure. Absolutely.
How'd you guys get hooked up with Will?
Ooh. That's a tricky one.
I think we have different stories on that.
Yeah,
part, for sure.
Yeah. He was telling. So the way Will was talking about you guys, he likes that you guys have both. You guys come from both different backgrounds, and you bring your own thoughts and experiences to Catalyst Crafted Ales.
Yeah.
So I mean, how did that's why I was wondering, how did you get hooked up with this guy?
For me, it was like very interesting. I was working in retail, specifically art supplies.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine bartends, and some of the guys that used to work here actually would go to her bar after a shift, and then somebody mentioned that they were looking for a new delivery driver.
Okay.
And so, like, I met up with
Just
them.
a delivery driver?
Yeah, that's it's about a year and a half ago. Like last January, I came on and I was just doing deliveries.
Yeah.
Like a couple times a week, and then
Had you already been here and tried their beers?
a couple times, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was really liking, the energy I was getting from everybody, and then I eventually was helping out in the back. I was pretty much just cleaning small parts. I wasn't really doing anything major to like help.
Make a cake cleaner?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay.
Eventually, I started doing that, and that moved into Will wanting to bring me on as a cellarman so I can learn even more and help out and help them get these beers made and done. And I think that was around May or June last year, so it's been about a year of just like mainly working in the back. And
wow. That's a really quick rise.
Yeah, it was a lot. Just going from one thing to another, and then just learning a whole bunch of things all at once.
Best way to learn how to swim, get thrown in the deep end.
Yeah, pretty much. And
Amen.
then, back in March, I just started brewing.
Okay.
And
Had you have brewed before, or just
never?
You're learning here?
I learned here.
Okay.
I was interested before every time because I would see like, oh yeah, I could probably do this at home, but never really had the space. Always had roommates, so like just I didn't want to bring too many things into like a joint space like that. So
okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
Oh man, I actually started out here at Catalyst as a bar back and bartender.
Okay.
Starting last fall, I guess later into the winter, these guys kind of pulled me back there, needed some help like cleaning kegs and some other cellarman type stuff, and I started picking it up pretty quickly, and so Will was like, "Oh no, let's bring this guy into the team."
Well, why'd you get a job? Why'd you get a job here as a bar back and a bartender?
Oh, how'd I end up here? Like in general, I actually lived down the street. I was a regular here for a little bit, and then one day one of the owners was like, "Hey man, you want a job?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
The only person here more than him is the barstool.
Okay, all right, that's funny. So you both always been into beer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even more so, like when I moved to Arizona, that was like years and years ago, and meeting friends out here, like they were showing me like, oh yeah, there's like all kinds of different beers out here, so I was trying like a whole bunch of different things. This was like still before Four Peaks was bought.
Yeah,
so,
long time ago.
Yeah, so like all the seasonal beers and everything, and I'm like, it opened me up into different like bottle shops, mainly in Tempe.
Oh, like Tops?
Yeah, like Tops or
Kings.
There's another one down the road from.
I don't
here
know
too.
all of them, so all right.
But yeah, like a lot of good spots like that where like the staff will be like, you can just go up and ask them like, hey, like I tried this kind of beer, like do you have any others like it? And they're like,
yeah,
sure, here you go, try this out. So it's pretty funny that Will's really into like a lot of Belgian style beers. I kind of accidentally got into them, all because we were mainly getting into a girlfriend of mine at the time. She really liked sours, so we were starting to get into a lot of those like lambics and other
Yeah, but
like,
Will turned me on the lambics last year when we went to Firestone. He's like, we got to try this brewery, and that's why I'm like, wow, there's so much sophisticated, like nuanced flavors in it that I never even appreciated before.
Yeah, it's something like we didn't think about. Like a lot of the when we were getting into it, like a lot of the sours at the time were just all like the modern,
The kettle sours,
yeah, just straight up. Here's the sour factor, but I definitely enjoyed like a a lot of the older styles.
The old ways, yeah.
Yeah, just because it was like you said, like more layered.
Mm-hmm.
But then a lot of the newer stuff is like more one-dimensional. But
Yeah.
I still enjoy it because
There's a place for all of it.
yeah, I'm a sucker for pickle beers, so like, like I can't help it.
Yeah, you like. What about you, Andrew? What kind of beers do you like to drink?
Mostly just saisons. Yeah.
Okay,
and
saisons, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty clear cut on that. You're gonna get a lot more out of them on the beer front.
That batch 200 is really good. I never
Yeah.
tried a saison like that before.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like as soon as like Will was just like, yeah, let's make a hoppy saison, and I was just like, do you think everyone's gonna go for that? He didn't care, and I was just like, all right, I'm down. You know, let's do something different. Nobody else is doing this.
Yeah.
So
He's got a knack for. I think what he likes it kind of can translate.
oh yeah, and you know we've been sipping on that. You know, pretty much since we
It
made
came
it.
out, yeah.
It's a nice, refreshing beer, but it still gives you like a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a hoppy punch to it. You know.
Yeah.
We've been messing around with like different blends on that one too. Like what was
Oh,
that?
yeah.
3 months ago we did that. We did a chrysanthemum, hibiscus, and lavender.
Really?
Yeah, dry hop into it. It was the saison tisane. It was really good. We kicked that. We made what like six barrels. I
I've
guess,
never heard of
something like that.
chrysanthemum in a beer. Lavender,
Oh,
sure.
wait, it was
so good.
chamomile.
Chamomile. Oh, chamomile. Okay,
chrysanthemum,
yeah,
and
okay,
hibiscus.
okay,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that kicked in like a weekend.
But even that sounds
That was awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, it was like
it was like biting into like an apple almost.
Yeah.
An apple, yeah.
yeah.
Really
That was a
good.
nice one.
The flavors just from the. I'll go get the tea so you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
because the Vioto is already it's got like a very like floral like flavor to it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then adding like actual like fresh tea to it,
Yeah.
it just added a whole nother level to it.
Well, I was gonna ask you, Andrew, what's your favorite beer you have on tap right now? Not that you
Yeah.
ever made, but
Batch 200. Right
the batch
here.
200
Yeah,
is yours. How about you, Eric?
The favorite, I actually really enjoy Ultimo Hombre. That's like my first like original favorite. When I started working
That's the one I had before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like ever since I had that, I can't drink like Modelo Negro or the Dos Equis Negro. I can't drink either one of those.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we got that from Infusion. They're down the street. But
Okay.
Really, really cool guys.
Another
really
local
good. That's-
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super botanical, man.
Yeah. And
Crazy.
not only that, but there's a
Crazy
little
notes.
air of sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Inherent.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a lot of different teas, but the blend is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that saison Vioto. When you open it up with those botanicals, it's pretty incredible how crisp it is and how much those notes land.
Yeah.
So do you guys have? I mean, you just starting out brewing, learning how to brew and all that stuff. Do you guys maybe think you want to go out on your own at some point, like maybe 10 years down the road? Could you
It's
see
pretty
that?
funny because like we were talking about this
Literally
literally.
Wait, no, it's Friday.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Friday.
the other day is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andrew was asking me about it, and I was like, honestly, like with this kind of job, I feel like you kind of have to move on at
Yeah.
some point.
At some point, yeah.
You know, whether it's like a couple years or 10 years down the road, you gotta. I guess one of the best things I could say, or like the best way to interpret it is like in art, like artists usually they don't stick to the same medium all the time. They want to like try something else to
Yeah,
like
branch out somehow,
kind of
yeah.
like scratch that itch, you know. They're like, oh, like this gets boring. I want to do something else. So like I kind of feel like that's the same thing with this too, you know. Like at some point on, I know I'll probably move on somewhere else, or you know, maybe change what I'm doing, you know.
Right. How about you, Andrew? Same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, like he was saying, there's just like this forward path of evolution in this industry, and you can either stay on that bus or you can fiddle off. And
Yeah,
go
and if
do
you look at
something
like
else,
Will's
you know?
career, the brewery, the shop, you know, at Astra, Rent House, I forgot about them, at Astra, now here. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it plus it gives you a different perspective. You learn from a different people and everything, and just builds that repertoire that you're gonna eventually, you know, showcase.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody does things differently, and they have different different palates. So like they're gonna want to like do different flavor combinations,
Yeah.
and you kind of learn
Or
from
even
that.
different solutions to problems that might come up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to be like Alabama here a little bit, where if these guys want to go to the pros, we want them to be as ready as possible when they leave Alabama to go and have a great career. So of course we'd love to have them here forever, but
Yeah, it's not reality.
They're always
not reality.
welcome to stay as long as they want. We'll always have a home here at Cowboys.
So, guys, tell me about this vanilla reality.
Ooh, the vanilla reality. That's
Well,
actually.
that's standard.
Oh, this is standard.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
I thought this was vanilla reality.
No, that's standard. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you guys both standard. It's wild turkey bourbon barrels, the aged vanilla, or not vanilla, maple syrup for 2 years. And then
Oh,
aged
okay.
the beer for like 14
I didn't.
months.
Yeah, I didn't taste a lot of vanilla in this one.
Yeah, no. I'll get
Yeah.
I'll get you some VR.
Definitely though. There's a lot of maple in this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 That one, it's always shocking to people because they're like, they don't know what to think about it because of how dark it is. And then they
Yeah.
take one sip and they're like, just hit with a bunch of flavor.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, it doesn't taste like it, but be careful. It's it's like I think 14%.
Is it
beer.
really 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Not
thinking
heavy
11
either.
or 12, maybe
Oh,
14.
yeah. It packs a punch. So
Because you don't feel it. Like a lot of those
Yeah.
14ers, you can feel it drinking.
It's got that sweetness in there from the syrup, so it's
Yeah.
kind of disguising it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh yeah, a lot bit.
You don't feel it till you stand up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we
Floor
took that
real
to a
Kingman?
festival up in Kingman, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that Smeltertown one.
no,
No,
in
that
Kingman
was
it was.
Clarkdale.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Clarkdale. Yeah.
In
Kingman's
Kingman it
for-
was
for the- yeah.
Rickety Cricket. They threw on a
yeah.
Renaissance fairs,
festival.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've had Rickety. I didn't know they were out of Kingman. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like right
So
there in
it's
the heart of
happening.
Kingman. And,
Yeah.
But the festival was up in the mountains, like kind of campsite and stuff, and it was pretty cool. But
Oh wow.
yeah, this standard was really popular up there, especially with the Fighters Guild. They
Yeah. The combat
were-
sports guys.
they were fighting extra hard.
So you guys get do you guys get to go to all the festivals, or do you guys get dispatched because Will's like, I'm not going to that one. I'll hit the majors.
No, yeah,
Try and bring everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're pretty team oriented, and whatever.
Yeah.
If one of us can't go, then the others probably are. So.
We like
yeah.
to have brewers at those things, so people, if there's like geeks that really want
Yeah,
to know
they-
what's going on, at least
Yeah.
we'll have a couple of us there.
Yeah.
Like the big ones, like the Copper State and stuff, we have shifts, so we can go party a little bit.
Oh yeah, Copper State. Everyone comes
Yeah.
out for that.
Yeah,
you guys
'cause
have
we-
skeleton crew here.
Yeah, because we want to meet the other breweries, you know?
Yeah. Make connections and maybe collab.
Yeah, exactly.
Something.
You know,
I know there's a lot of promises, and maybe one comes right or comes to fruition.
Yeah.
It's a pretty small industry. You can't really get away with that here. You're generally
Yeah.
going to get a phone call.
Yeah.
And Will and I were just talking about it. Arizona is still growing. It's still really small as far as the per capita.
Oh, yeah.
And what you guys are able to produce day in and day out, and I think the rest of the country really needs to. But it might be like that, like in other states too. Nebraska might have a great program, but we have no idea.
Yeah, we have no idea. I haven't heard of anything coming out of
Yeah, exactly. But there
Nebraska,
might be some
so-
great breweries out of there.
You
Who
know
knows?
what? I'm going to put that on my list now. Like, what do they got going on?
Just anything, right? But Eric, Andrew, thank you for hanging out and
For sure.
talking beer with me. Yeah, I hope to see you guys at festivals,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
or even before then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. You know where to find us.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
cool.
We'll be
All
here.
right, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Who's that?